Probably not for upload. It's quite odd looking back to realise that aged 5, something so serious had happened that I could not relate to other children. Desperately looked forward to going to school so that I could be with other children, and then found that we had nothing in common whatsoever. First day at school, all the other kids were crying, and I remember asking them why. Sort of downhill run from there, really. First 2 years in school, I didn't have any positive contact with the other children in school whatsoever. I can remember being followed around the playground at playtimes and called various names and stuff. Even the teachers didn't seem to be able to tolerate me. Although I got gold stars and what have you and so forth. Playtimes, I didn't have a clue what to do, really. And there were other practical problems. But so the infant school was a wipeout, really. All 2 years in there. And then come the junior school, I did make a friend. Aged about 7 by then. And things looked up, and in the following year there were about 3 more friends. But by then I was 8. The year I was 8 was catastrophic, and I have so many memories of it that I couldn't even list them all, but none of them are good. And that was the year that the boys, and it was always the boys, began to bully me. Of course, if you think of bullying, you generally think of some cowed victim crying and hiding and huddled away somewhere. I fought back. Mind you, it wasn't physical bullying that I recall. It was mainly name calling and what have you. But I always fought back. There might be 11, 12 boys, and I would be a little girl on my own, and I would hurl insult for insult. Which of course made the other girls rather wary of me. Although I did stick with those 4 friends for quite a while. Well, they stuck with me. But that particular bullying by the boys carried on for the next 7 years. And only stopped when we all reached puberty, and they apparently began to see me in a different light. The trouble being that I didn't see them in a different light. I saw them exactly as I had always seen them. And wasn't remotely interested in them. I've talked about what I suppose people might describe as a breakdown, which began when I was 15, 16. But there was also one when I was 13. And that was pretty damn weird. And I still wouldn't know quite what to call it. Catatonia? I'm not sure. All of a sudden I couldn't talk properly. And there was nothing physically wrong. I just couldn't talk properly. and I couldn't walk properly either. It seemed as if my legs wouldn't do the right things or bend in the right places, and going to school just became a complete and utter nightmare. I have to say, when I got away from school, there was an improvement in that. And so at 14, well, they still had streaming and I was in top class, but at 14 I truanted for about 6 months without anyone actually noticing. Yeah, I would sign up for registration, and between registration and the first class, slip out of the back door, down the gravel slope, across the brick fields, and into a park called Riverside Park. Still in my school uniform. I only came unstuck actually after about 6 months. I don't know if I got bored of it or something. I phoned the school, said I was my mother, and had a very pleasant interview with the deputy headmistress. The funny thing was, everyone hated her, and from school reunion stuff, I gather they still do. She was actually very kind to me. She asked me what was wrong, and there was no way on God's earth that I could tell her what was wrong. I couldn't explain it. I didn't know what was wrong. I think what I'm trying to say is that from a very, very early age, the kind of abuse that was meted out marks you out as different for the rest of your life. And I still attract bullies. And now that I have breathing problems and what have you and so forth, I prefer staying indoors because I can't fight back.